over narcotics smuggling in Volta. My company was licensed to operate. Number one. Bawumia rallies NPP for 2028 victory. SkyTrain board approval in GIF memo. And Mahama is fifth most powerful global development figure.
That's interesting because in the Daily Graphic, it has this story of also the narcotic issue. The Volta Region Police have intercepted another vehicle with narcotics. Arresting team rejects 120,000 CDs from the suspects. It's a story on the back page. The nation, I should say, aims for food self-sufficiency. The government, World Bank are backing food security resilience program. And then a very disturbing story. Galamsey thugs attacked 2 Daily Graphic journalists. Forest Commission set up forest protection camps. And with a picture of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they say 3 experts analyze MPP's route to 2028.
The Business and Financial Times. EJF urges fisheries sector to expedite transparent vessel registry. GIPC Act 865 review to deepen local participation and create jobs. TDC declares 3 million CD dividend as revenue rises 34%. And UMAT awards honorary doctorate to businessman Ibrahim Mahama. There is also a feature on the hidden cost of trade misinvoicing in today's edition of the Business and Financial Times.
Great. The Economic Times for this morning. Ghana City rally from Africa's 2025 champion to a shaky 2026 start. Phase 3 of financial sector reforms begins as BOG repositions microfinance institutions amid players' concerns. Businesses, households await banks' response to latest 250 basis points policy rate cut. Okay. Yeah, they're waiting patiently for a reduction in lending rates. You know, it's good. It's good when there's a reduction in lending rates. Okay. So it means that you can the cost of credit becomes affordable. If you have an existing loan that is punishing you, you can go and take another one and with a reduced rate.
And then
yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, we can get into the details now. And I think
before we get into the details, let's go for the online news review. And let's start with myjoyonline.com this morning. And myjoyonline.com, winning back trust is the bigger battle. That's upon Kroma after Dr. Bawumia's victory. And NPP unity, people around Kennedy Japan's team are a lot more bitter, says Musa Dankwa. NPP eyes 2028 reset as Bawumia camp concedes trust gap. And NPP grassroots ready to unite, but leaders divided. That's poster Musa Dankwa. Kanda, not campaign rhetoric. NPP vows radical honesty ahead of 2028 elections, and Parliament reconvenes today. And talking about Parliament, we'll talk about that shortly because you have a report, Kweku Asante. CityNewsroom.com, Ghana's petroleum revenue falls to $399 million in second half of 2025. BOG Parliament resumes sitting today. And 22 million World Bank support to boost Ghana's food security. Ato Forson, Hassan Tampoli. Bawumia's popularity evident in NPP primary results. And Tampoli says NPP primary a win for the party. Musa Dankwa says we didn't expect Ken Japan's collapse to be catastrophic. And Ghana Railway Development Authority unveils master plan to connect major cities. Okay, I will be open-armed to everyone, Bawumia and Abi. MPP happy with Apenyo marking as minority leader. Okay, before we get into the details, Kweku, let's do this. Let's start from Parliament. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in 2025, during the vetting, something happened. Now, it's been exactly a year since the chaotic and embarrassing scenes unfolded at Parliament's Appointments Committee, where disagreements over a vetting schedule descended into violence and the destruction of public property. 1 year on, not a single member of Parliament has been held to account, despite tables, microphones, and other state-owned property being damaged in full view of the public. As Parliament resumes sitting this afternoon, Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kweku Asante revisits what many analysts have described as a dark chapter in Ghana's parliamentary democracy and the still elusive search for accountability.
there was a simple disagreement over how many ministerial nominees were to be vetted.
We agreed on 4, we have done 5. Don't you understand?
But instead of resolving the matter through dialogue, the MPs decided to trade blows instead.
It's chaos, it's chaos, it's chaos, it's chaos. The table have turned, more microphones are falling to the ground and things are being destroyed. The table has broken with public property being destroyed.
The following day, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin responded forcefully. He announced stiff sanctions.
The following members are suspended for 2 weeks. The 2 chief whips, Mr. Roxon Nelson Dafiamapo and Mr. Frank Ano Dompre, Mr. Alasan Tampuli, Mr. Jerry Ahmed Shaib.
In a dramatic turn of events, the Speaker later reversed the suspensions and he followed appeals from both the minority and majority leaders.
I, on behalf of my caucus, would want to assure the public that such an action will not be seen in the public space. I also, on behalf of my side, appeal to you to reconsider your decision.
A special committee was swiftly constituted to investigate the disturbances. Witnesses were invited, testimonies were taken, and a report was compiled. But that report has never been made public. 1 year later, it has still not been laid before the House, let alone debated the decision taken. And while that report gathers dust on the shelves somewhere in Parliament, MPs captured on live television vandalizing public property have walked free. There have been no prosecutions, no surcharges, no restitution, simply no accountability. Parliament appears to have collectively moved on. And in Parliament, where every disagreement now generates chaos, some fear even worse scenes may yet unfold.
Right, Kweku, you were there.
Yeah.
When it all happened. And it's been a year.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah, the years run by so fast. I mean, you look at the video, you can see clearly the face of the MPs that are involved in this. Okay, and the Speaker did act, like you heard there, suspended some members of Parliament. But then there was a quick turnaround just within a week when the minority and majority leaders pleaded for clemency. And then he decided to do that. But then referred the matter to the police because there was a little bit of criminality in there. Not even a little bit. Criminality in there with people destroying public property. And then he vowed that the destruction of all those property will be borne by the members of Parliament that will ultimately be held responsible for that. They set up a committee to be chaired by Emmanuel Kwesi-Bedzra. They did the work. They sat in the public view for about a week or two. And then that report was put together and it's somewhere on the shelf, not laid on the floor, not taken, no debated, no decisions taken. So we are back at square one where the chaos that was seen on that very, very, very embarrassing night has just been relegated to history, and 1 year on, no one has been held to account. Just like all the other things that happen with this country where no one is really held to account, Winston.
And Parliament as an institution of accountability should be accountable itself.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't establish a committee to look into something. You hand over the issue to the police, and you should be interested in how the police investigations are going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised that a year on, we still don't have any information on that.
And I like the point you make. I suspect ultimately Parliament will scapegoat the police and say that, well, we handed it over to them to investigate. They haven't gotten back to us. But what about Parliament internally themselves? There's a whole privileges committee because a lot of the things that happen are breaches of privilege, for which reason members of Parliament can be held responsible internally, even as the police looks at the criminal aspect of this matter. Parliament itself hasn't done that. He set up a committee, went into this. There was precious national airtime spent on this. The report has not even been presented, let alone debated and decision taken. So you just clearly get that it's one of those things where Parliament is just going to do a self-cover-up and then we move on. Because, of course, they know that in the title of the nation, even the media, we don't have a habit of going back to some of those things. So they just know, as always, they can just sweep it under the carpet and they just move on to the next chaos.
But we are not going to allow sleeping dogs to lie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because even the Attorney General should be interested in this matter
Definitely.
too. Because that's the flaw of Parliament,
Yes.
where lawmakers ply their trade. And if lawmakers are breaking the law with impunity, it was captured on TV.
You know, the challenge, and while we talk about this, the challenge is that Parliament itself should deal with this.
Yeah.
So the Speaker should be the one leading this and saying, you know what, I'm going to deal with this. And I'll tell you why. because of where Parliament sits within our democracy, anybody that tries Parliament would have himself or herself to blame. I'll explain. Because at the end of the day, you have to go to Parliament for a lot of your laws and your approvals for expenditure and everything. When you get there and they tell you that, well, they have other businesses to deal with and they don't mind you, you'll be found wanting, like we say in Ghana. So I can understand that challenge. But that's why we're putting the pressure on Parliament, the Speaker.
Yeah.
So you formed that committee. You started by suspending these members of Parliament. What's happened to them?
He doesn't appear to have the nerve.
Well,
Because beyond suspending these members of Parliament, what has he done?
Yeah.
anyway,
He owes us an explanation.
let's get into the papers.
Well, there's this very interesting story about the nation aiming for food self-sufficiency. Comes with a picture of the finance minister, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsen. Story from Beatrice Laye in Esuchari says the finance minister, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsen, Daily Graphic, has stated that the country has the natural resources and the capacity to feed itself with right investments and policy direction. He has consequently affirmed the government's commitment, backed by the World Bank, to transform the country's agriculture sector under the West Africa Food Security Resilience Program to achieve food self-sufficiency, reduce imports, and create jobs. As always, one of the very interesting stories about achieving self-sufficiency when it comes to food. Brilliant. But just about 2 weeks ago, we were reporting about food gluts in the north, where maize that have been cultivated are just out there rotting away. Same with rice. And also there's a current ban on exporting those, so you are not getting that. So it is nice for the finance minister to be saying something nice like this, and we were told that the government were releasing about 200 million Ghana cedi for the National Buffer Stock Company to claw back some of the excess food in the system for the future. We didn't do that. Winston, you have huge tracts of farmland that you have been working on, and you have been cultivating crops that are wasting away. The government is not. I like nice speeches like this, but
Beyond
how
the
do
speeches,
we actualize
yes.
it? Because if not,
Because
we have so much food out.
we have arable land across the country.
And I'm telling you, Winston
What
has
have
a
we
lot
been-
of them. He haven't
been intentional.
Yeah.
We haven't been intentional as a nation. And when I saw this story, I did a bit of reading. In Kenya, sometime in 2017, avocados contributed 25% of Kenya's gross domestic product. Avocados do well in Ghana.
You see, whenever I hear the thing about glut, there's food glut, sometimes we talked about egg glut.
Yeah.
Only to understand during the festive season, when the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association partnered with the multimedia group to actually sell eggs at our car park, we realized that eggs that were being sold to the market queens at 40 cedis per crate, they were selling it to us at 70 cedis. Wow. So what you see, a lot of the times when they say, there's gluten, sometimes people have also refused to buy expensive things. So if you come and say this is 70, they won't buy. They will go home. They would wait until, because they realize that prices are expected to go down. So if you don't reduce prices, they won't buy.
Nobody's buying.
So the problem is the middlemen. And that's why some of these farmers should also do forward integration. They should find ways of getting into the retail market. Because if you always would wait for the middleman, and this is the sad aspect, Kweku, and for all of us, for those of us who are farmers, we know this all. The people who actually come to you and buy on credit, they go and refuse to reduce. Look, somebody bought pork from me, and then after he would always buy and come and pay after a week. Guess what? He bought one time and then came back asking, senior, and I told him, the ones I have currently are not that old, so give me about, say, a month or two. Do you know what the guy did?
No.
He did not pay for that week's. You know why? Because he was going to use that money to go and buy elsewhere. Yes. So many of these people would take the produce on credit. You go for the egg farmers, you go, they tell you omuntoyo, end of story.
Yeah.
For the maize farmers, you go omuntoyo, because they have just refused to reduce the prices, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
They rather make excessive profit than actually sell.
And so what happens is that people would import. For those of us who are into livestock and we're into, we know, for instance, that when it comes to maize, people would prefer to buy the imported maize because it's cheaper sometimes than the locally produced.
It's the same with chicken, isn't it?
Because the challenge is that the middlemen, the market queens, have just refused.
But Winston, it is not easy for a farmer, an average farmer, to go beyond the farm gate.
Yeah.
That is another challenge, because farming is an expensive enterprise. If you don't have financial muscle, there are things you cannot do. So most of these farmers are at the mercy of middlemen, and the middlemen are the people engaged in profiteering. They will sell, pocket the money, and they will not even go back to pay the farmers.
That's the whole idea.
I don't know whether it's a Ghanaian thing,
and that's where the challenge is, because you see, you'd
we are always
struggle,
trying to outsmart
cultivate.
each other.
Anyway, let's get into other stories. But you see, farmers can also come together, Eric, and engage. See, look, we always think that the best way is to do it alone. No, sometimes you could form partnerships and also get your products to the market.
We don't trust each other.
Well,
Winston,
then that's our problem.
It's a Ghanaian problem. We don't trust each other. So we don't believe in partnerships. No. As for partnerships,
Anyway.
well, in the news, our Kojo Akotoboa thing
Oh.
is trending. The good news is that he is in faraway Germany, partaking in
Yes, the
Fruit
Fruit
Logistica.
Logistica.
Yeah. And that's the world's leading international trade fair for fresh fruits and vegetables.